ground zero. This is horrendous. I've never seen anything like it. It's huge, it's scary. People are burnt everywhere.
This was Indonesia's deadliest terror attack. 202 people were killed on October 12, 2002. Another 200 were seriously burned or suffered other injuries from the bombing of a club and a pub on one of Bali's most popular tourist strips. The perpetrators, the Islamist extremist group Jemaah Islamiyah, or JI, which used violence to try to set up a caliphate in the region.
There's three reasons why JI conducted the Bali bombings. First, they wanted to imitate al-Qaeda's 9/11 attack. Second, they also wanted to conduct revenge against the US's invasion of Afghanistan. And third, they also wanted to defend Muslims in Indonesia because they perceived that foreign tourists in Bali were corrupting Muslims' morals and character.
The police investigation into the attack led to the arrest, prosecution, and conviction of hundreds of people, all linked to JI. In direct response to the attacks, Indonesia stepped up its counter-terrorism efforts. An anti-terror squad was formed, funded, equipped, and trained by the US and Australia. The specialized unit of the Indonesian National Police, called Densus 88, has seen considerable success in closing down terrorist cells. And only 6 days after the Bali bombing, Indonesia's anti-terrorism law was signed by then-President Megawati Sukarnoputri, who said that Indonesia lacked a legal basis to act quickly and strongly to handle terrorism. In the years following the Bali attacks, JI, however, continued to terrorize Indonesians and visitors to the Muslim-majority nation. In 2003, a bombing at the Marriott Hotel in the capital Jakarta killed 12 people and injured 150. The attack came 2 days before a verdict in the trial of one of the key perpetrators of the Bali bombing. In 2004, a 1-ton car bomb exploded outside the Australian embassy, leaving 8 people dead and wounding over 150 others. And in 2005, Bali was rocked again by 3 suicide bombings, killing 20 and injuring over 100. Then in 2009, the JW Marriott and Ritz-Carlton hotels in Jakarta were hit by separate bombings 5 minutes apart. 9 people died in the attack and over 50 people were injured in the blasts. All throughout, Indonesia carried out intense counter-terrorism operations against JI.
Para pengunjung sidang yang terhormat, demikianlah hasil kerja dari Pengadilan Negeri Denpasar.
By 2010, Indonesian police had arrested and, in 3 cases, executed JI's key leaders, effectively reducing the group's ability to carry out violence. And in recent years, the organization has kept a low profile. But there are other Islamist terrorist groups affiliated with Islamic State and al-Qaeda active in parts of Indonesia and in the wider region.
Terrorist organizations active in Indonesia currently are Jemaah Islamiyah, Jemaah Ansarud Daulah, and then there is also the Mujahideen of East Indonesia. There's also the Jemaah Ansarud Syariah, which is a pro-ISIS organization. In addition to those large 4, there are other numerous small groups that are still active. Despite the fact that there is prevalent terrorist organizations in Indonesia, it needs to be noted that it is still a small number compared to the overall Muslim population in Indonesia. It is still a significant minority of individuals that support them.
Indonesia has the largest Muslim population in the world. 87% of Indonesians are Muslim, with most practicing a moderate style of Islam. One of the more recent terrorist attacks in Indonesia took place on Palm Sunday in March 2021, when a bomb blast rocked this cathedral. At least 14 of the 100 church officials and churchgoers were injured. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack.
So after 2 decades of counterterrorism in Indonesia, there is an increased capacity for state authorities to conduct arrests. Ever since 2018, there is an increased amount of individuals and terror suspects that were arrested under the anti-terrorism law, around 1,200 individuals in the past 3 years.
At the same time, the police force has been modernized and de-radicalization programs have been bearing fruit. Indonesia also revamped its Countering Violent Extremism program, or CVE.
We learned from the Bali bombings that terrorist organizations are extremely resilient. They are indeed dangerous when they're conducting attacks, but they are also dangerous when they're not conducting attacks. That said, it is important for state institutions to focus not only on conducting arrests, but also on investing in CVE programs that allow us to counter radical narratives and prevent recruitment, even if the terrorist organizations are not conducting attacks. Because again, terrorist organizations are resilient, the state also needs to be resilient.